What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you on Lucid's earnings. And so unfortunately I was unable to live stream it, but I did listen to it afterwards. So I wanted to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly. And once I do get back home, I'll be able to do a dedicated video, show you screenshots and everything else. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with that, let's get right to it. At the time of doing this video, it is down 17.84%, currently sitting at $3.04. So a very significant sell-off. And so ultimately, when I did listen to it, the first 20 minutes, I was cringing. Peter was in full kind of speech mode, salesman mode a little bit, just hyping Lucid up. And given the results, it was very sickening, at least to me, of course. But within his pointless sales speech, he did actually talk on a couple good things. So I'm going to talk on that. So he did commit to cutting costs, and I think that's going to be the focal point for 2024. So that alongside kind of innovation as what he said, I think overall that's kind of a good thing. One negative is that in 2023 he did actually state the same thing, that they're going to be cutting costs because they did lay off people. I think it was Q1 2023 if I remember correctly. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Point number two, he did talk on more so the mid-size SUV that's coming late 2026. And so ultimately, he did allude to a tech partnership. Didn't really specify or give much context to it other than a tech partnership. So I assume that's associated with NVIDIA, maybe for autonomous driving, I would assume. But again, not really much context, so that's kind of a positive. And point number three, and yes, I hate to say it, that's all the general positives that I could really come up with, that we don't know, of course. And so point number three is clearly a licensing agreement with an OEM of sorts. They didn't say OEM, but it makes common sense because it is associated to a hybrid. So that should be in the works. He wasn't really ready to disclose who that was yet. It could be also Hyundai under the PIF umbrella. Technically, Hyundai is now there, so it would make logical sense for them to have some intellectual property there, and especially for a hybrid. I don't know. So all in all, those are the three positives. Let's talk on some of the negatives. Of course, once I go over my dedicated video, I'll be able to show you screenshots and like actual numbers, but revenue was crap. But I think based on the numbers that came out for Q4, we kind of came into this earnings knowing that it was going to be bad. So it's like, I can't really hate on Lucid and say, hey, you know what, the revenue is crap. Like, we kind of anticipated that. One thing that we did not anticipate, for those of you that watch my channel, I frequently have said that 25,000 was going to be a benchmark. Anything below that, market was going to slaughter Lucid. So 9,000. Like, when I saw 9,000, at first, you know what? I saw some people commenting on some previous videos saying, oh my God, 9,000, that's horrible. And I was like, oh yeah, like whatever, like maybe they're just rounding up from 8. Like, we knew that. That's how many they delivered in, what was it, 2023. So I did not realize initially that was 9,000 was their target for 2024. Zero growth. And so the only reason that I can think in my head to justify this, and some people probably will disagree with me on this because some people are very hell-bent on believing in Lucid, and I still own it. I still like it. That's why I like to give the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that's just for transparency purposes. But in my opinion, the reason why they chose 9 is to complete the backlog. So 9,000 is just what they plan on producing. And so they plan on getting rid of the backlog, because the backlog should be, I think, estimate around 4,500 right now. So there's 4,500 vehicles at least around this globe, maybe in Middle East, maybe in the States, that does not have a home, does not have a buyer. So I think that is their intention, to kind of get rid of that. And plus, I'm sure them stamping shipping to AMP2, that is going to take up a lot of their time. One thing that kind of confused me was 𝗖𝗧𝗪, like almost 2 weeks ago, did say that 2024 AMP2 is going to be producing between 5 and 10. So I don't understand how it could be 10 if AMP1's not doing it. I don't know. So that's just a side note. So production 2024, very, very crappy. And I was catching on. Like if I would have done a live stream, you would have seen my face. And my wife always laughs at me when I do this because I don't have any filter. If I don't like something, I'm going to clearly show it on my face. I have clearly bad poker face. But when I was listening to that earnings, and I think that guy's CFO's name is Gagnon, if I'm saying that right. But ultimately, he tried to say, we normally don't give guidance like that isn't being disclosed, but Q1 already isn't looking good for the States. Very low demand. And I was like, hold on, wait a fucking minute. Pardon my French anyways, but stats just came out. States, like, yeah, initially, like if you would have told me in 2021 there's no demand in the States, I would have said, yeah, you're right. But the latest stats that just came out, 40% year-over-year increase on EV sales in the States. So Gagnon is here to tell me that there's no demand, there's a demand issue, or is it just Lucid? But he didn't say just Lucid. He said EVs. EVs are struggling in Q1. I don't think so. So I think Lucid already laid the foundation for Q1 to be a fail. And I think this is actually why the price is going down. Now it's 18.65%. We're 19.05 now. But there's no reason to buy Lucid. Why would anyone buy Lucid? As bad as that sounds. Again, I really like it and I want it to succeed. But why would anyone buy Lucid? I get, yeah, you want to be an investor. But if it's going to go down to $2, $1.50, why? What incentive did Lucid give during their earnings to get people to buy? Gravity is coming out, and also don't even get me started on the Gravity, because I didn't get that warm fuzzy feeling from Peter saying that the Gravity is going to be at the tail end of this year. He sounded very hesitant. He said, oh, it's anticipated. It's like, you need to get your shit together. And also Peter lied out of his teeth. He was talking on 2023 accomplishments and how the AMP-1 completed phase 2. It's like, no, January 8th, I think that was, or sometime in January, they did a post saying that they completed phase 2. So that doesn't add up. So I feel like if they were Pinocchio, they would be lying through their teeth. And again, if I was live streaming that, you would have saw my face like, what the, I don't know. So I wasn't really a fan of almost anything. Analysts, I think there's only 3 analysts that ask questions. They are clearly done with Lucid. Initially, early, like last year, there was like 7 analysts and whatever else, and more like optimism. Now, people are just like, and I did see a couple posts on Twitter, and oddly, some people were arguing, and I can actually tell you the PIF is the only reason why Lucid is at these prices. If Wall Street did not realize that they had Big Brother behind them that is going to pretty much save them, this stock will be at $1. If not, already it would have conducted a reverse stock split and gone down that route. That is single-handedly the only reason why Lucid is at these prices. Like, there is a premium that is being paid because the PIF is there to support them. And so I still do stand by my stance. And it's funny, some people disagreed with me. Q3, they are going to need to dilute roughly about $3 billion. Yeah, they had a good amount of cash. I hate how they always focus on kind of the restricted cash. So they say, oh, we have $4 billion in cash. He's like, no, you only have $1.1 billion in cash and cash equivalents. So that does mean that you will need to dilute by Q3. That's, again, I don't understand how so many people seem to be making excuses for Lucid. I don't know why. I get it. Like, you want to defend your investment, but like I've said, it is very dangerous to be an investor and for you to be overly bullish and overly bearish, because then it does make you kind of narrow-minded and not being able to see the true picture with Lucid. So all in all, there was some couple positives. Is it a reason to go out and buy Lucid because of those positives? Not really. So I hate to say it, clearly it down 20% right now, 19.59%. it is justified. And big money is, and the funny thing is, I was watching, shorts aren't really doing all that much today. They're waiting for Lucid to kind of destruct itself. And so yeah, this is just a quick, well, I guess it's 10 minutes, but a quick video on my true thoughts on Lucid earnings. I'm going to do a dedicated video, like I said, just showing you screenshots, go over some of the recent analyst ratings and whatever else. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid's earnings. Were you a fan? Or did you buy, did you sell? I did do a poll on Twitter, at about 20% of individuals, roughly about 500 people voted, I believe, and 20% is buying. 30% was selling, and the rest was holding. And I think the reason why the people are holding is because they have a pretty high average, and it kind of makes no sense, essentially, in some people's minds to sell. So that's just my viewpoint. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with that, appreciate all of you watching.